This is the Inkbeard Chronicles. My name's Ron. Today we have Rob J. Hayes, the author of one of my favorite series, Titan Hoppers. Absolutely love this series. This is what introduced me to your work. And I I cannot wait to start book 4 that you just released. But I got stuck on Age of the God Eater, and I'm pretty sure. Oh, you've got that. Oh, I'm ordering all the
This is
hardcovers
actually
for that.
the special edition paperback version
No
that
kidding.
was released with the Kickstarter.
Oh, if I
Yeah.
would have known you had a Kickstarter going, I would have been on the top of my list.
Well, the good news is I will be re-releasing all the book ones on the Kickstarter for the book twos. So keep your eye
Oh,
out.
excellent, excellent. Do you have any plan on what day you're going to be doing that, or what month or year?
No, when the books are written and finished.
Right, right.
I'm hoping for next year for the phase two books of the God Eater saga, but uh, it's when the books are ready. I'm still writing them at the moment, so I'm not going to try and rush it because yeah, it's a big project. Anyway, but hello, thank you for having me on your channel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for being on it. I'm super psyched that you're here. Uh, my first question to you, sir, is I've seen that you dabble with pretty much everything. How did that come about? Normally, it's like this person is the Lord Grimdark, or this person
Yeah.
is Master of Fantasy, this person is next author to the Sherlock Holmes. It just seems to be a genre.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people kind of they'll find their brand basically, their sort of like their genre that they like to write in, and they'll tend to stick to it. Um, I personally, I think I'd get bored if I was just writing the same thing over and over again. For me, I need to sort of bounce around a bit to make sure that my mind doesn't get sort of stuck in a rut.
Right,
So
so
I
keep it
think there
fresh.
are. Yeah, I think there are, sort of like two different types of authors in that sort of sense. There are the ones that will, they'll find their genre and it's like, yes, this is what I want. But then you have other people like, Mark Lawrence. Mark Lawrence is one of my favorite authors, and he bounces around genres as well.
Oh, really?
One moment he's writing grimdark fantasy, then he's writing this sort of urban fantasy D&D children's adventure type time travel thing. Next thing he's writing, murder nuns. It's just he's always writing different sorts of things, and I sort of like that's how I decided I wanted to be as well. So it's like I start with a grimdark series, The Ties That Bind, but then I'm not all grimdark all the time. So the next series I wrote was a light-hearted steampunk adventure.
Oh, right.
Um,
I
and then
think
these
that's what
days I'm writing
I
dark
think that's.
fantasy and sci-fi and
Oh, right. I think that's what made me focus so much on. I don't get bored.
Mm.
No, it's the fact that you have such a wide range makes it just absolutely amazing to me. Even more so of how you're keeping Age of the God Eater in your head, working on all these other projects.
To be fair, I'm only really working on two projects right now. I'm working on the God Eater and wrong hand. There we go. Ooh, ooh, yeah, up there. The Titan Hoppers books.
Okay, so it's those
Those
two at
those are
the
my two
moment.
projects at the moment. And when I started working on both of them at the same time, I quickly learned that working on two different major series at the same time was a bad idea.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm already committed. So but it's just I'd like to write in different sort of genres to keep it fresh, and I'd like to think that it helps people sort of like discover me. I know some like the conventional idea is if you write in one sort of like main genre, the people who find you, that's what they want to read, so they'll read more of it. I like to think that maybe different readers will discover me from different books. So I get a lot of people coming to me saying they started reading my Mortal Techniques books first with Never Die. which is absolutely wonderful. It's like Asian sword and sorcery. But then they'll move on to something like God Eater, and they'll be like, this is even better, and I'm like, thank you, yes. Uh,
I
so
I
it's
have to
just a
say,
different discovery, like ways to discover me, I guess.
wait, no, I mean, I was very surprised of Age of the God Eater, especially after going from Titan Hoppers to that series.
It's very different.
Very, very different. In the concept of Titan Hoppers, the magic system, how unique that is, without what I think it's really cool is that you have the rules of your magic system pretty much well established in book one. Before you shatter it to pieces, and then everything like at the end of book three, I'm like, what is everything? Is all the rules just out the window?
Uh, no, so right, the magic system for Titan Hoppers. I don't know how much you know about progression fantasy as a genre.
I've
Um,
Will White is one of my favorite.
yeah, so
Uh, Ogard,
progression fantasy is this idea of these, the characters are continually getting stronger, they're leveling up, they're powering up. And it comes very much from like shows like Dragon Ball, Naruto. In fact, is that a little Naruto doll up there? I think you have a Naruto doll above you.
which one?
You've got a little Naruto doll. Is it a Naruto
Oh
doll?
yeah, it's actually a lamp.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. He even goes Super Saiyan. Brilliant.
Yeah, Sage mode, absolutely fantastic.
So yeah, progression fantasy is this idea. It's very much based on anime where characters are continually getting stronger, and there's usually a very well-defined magic system in place around these sort of those series. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that within that magic system, my main characters can progress in different ways.
Okay,
Because it's one of the things that I always wanted in like in Dragon Ball. I want, you've always got like Goku getting more powerful than the Vegeta catching up, and then it was always like that. I always wanted them to sort of like progress in different ways, but remain on a similar sort of power level.
it's
Um,
kind of like
so
how they did in Super, isn't it?
I've not actually watched much of Super, I must admit.
Okay,
I only really watched Dragon Ball Z,
okay, yeah,
but
Super. If you have a time, I definitely recommend.
okay. I shall see if I can find it. We have weird laws in England around Dragon Ball. It can be very hard to actually get hold of for some reason. Same with One Piece. I don't know why. It's just hard to watch.
Say why One Piece universally
I,
loved by everyone.
I don't think it's the fact that it's not loved. It's just there's some weird laws around the streaming of it and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so with Titan Hoppers, I very much wanted the main characters, to progress in different ways, but keeping a sort of similar power level as they kept getting stronger, basically. So the way I did that was okay. Each of the two characters is going to break the power system, the magic system, in their own way. Um, and we're just really in book four. This is where the main character Iroh is starting to break his magic system. Um,
Shatter it.
and yeah, yeah, and obviously the other main character Emil, he broke the magic system in book one because yeah, why not?
Why not?
So yeah, it's fun because you get to create this magic system and then you get to just break it. You go, right, how can I now work outside the magic system, but by keeping everything on sort of like parity at the same time, without any one character going too far up the scale. So yeah.
The other thing I enjoy is how you took just a simple concept, like paladins, basically different classes like that, made them your own, but then added your not even kind of like leveling up, but there's no powers. If I read it
How do you mean power scale?
like okay, like take Primal Hunter. All right, they've got a very Like there's different grades.
Okay.
Like you start at like then you go to.
Yeah.
It seems like once you get uppers, the rules don't matter.
I think that's always the case with for me at least with good progression fantasies to
Right.
stop them from getting boring. So you don't just have this, oh, this guy's Super Saiyan, he's going to kick the crap out of everybody.
Right.
You
Kind of
know,
like when they introduced
uh,
that free.
yeah, I wanted to make sure that the characters, yeah, they can sort of like there's a whole thing in which one is it, book three, where it's like Iroh is desperately trying to punch higher than his gate basically, and I wanted to make sure that that was a thing that was going to be possible from moving from there forwards, because otherwise, yeah, the character's always going to hit that ceiling, and it's like, oh, I can't beat this unless I go through another training montage. And then, all the characters below me are just weaklings. They don't matter anymore. I didn't want that. So, you've got the characters that can hit harder, but in different ways. You've got like Toshiko, who she can't take a punch, but boy, can she hit hard.
Oh yeah.
Um, uh, so you got Iroh who can basically kill himself to get stronger. Um, so yeah, it's I while there are clearly defined levels in the gates that they can open, there's a lot of sort of like variation of what that really means in terms of power level. Um,
So
and
it's
I know
like
a lot of
gate
people don't
five,
like
like
that.
got gate five, and
Yes,
then they are trying to remember five.
there is no level after gate
There
five.
is none. Then why did they call
No,
like the master? You have gate five,
they're
but then it's like one stage after that they keep referring to
the grands.
the
The
grands.
the
Yes.
grands are those who have reached gate five because there's so few of them. They're just sort of like they're
Oh,
given their
okay.
own little title. Because like I think in the home fleet there's only five of them. Out of like 50,000 people, there's five people who have reached this highest power level. Um, but then as the series progresses, you realize that there's levels of Gate 5 as well. The people
Yes.
who may have reached Gate 5 might not be as strong as somebody else who has reached Gate 5. So,
Or uh or in being as strong as five, eight, or four. Be at the left.
well,
Ah,
so yeah, there's a lot of variation in power levels because I never wanted things to be too rigid, basically. Because you do get a lot of in progression fantasy, you do get a lot of this rigidity of these ranks that people have to progress through. And I get it, I understand it. I didn't want my series to be that locked in.
no, I can't get enough of this series, and I definitely have to pick up the next, which will probably
Well,
be after I finish the two other Age of the God Eater. That is at the top of my list. Uh, I bought two more credits on Audible just so I can read.
outstanding. I fully endorse this buying extra credits to buy my books.
Well, I'm at the Audible
Um,
plan where I get two a month, and
okay.
for this channel, I can so many books that if I don't buy extra credits, I'm just falling behind.
That's I think I'm still on the one credit a month system, but then I occasionally do re-listens, which builds up, so then my credits start building up while I'm re-listening to other things. So last year I re-listened to Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive
Got it.
series. It took so long to get through them that I had like 5 credits by the end of it.
Oh, really?
They're each like 60 hours long.
It's. Have you ever heard of the book The Wandering Inn by Byron
I've heard
Allen?
of it. I have heard of it. I've heard it's about 200 million words long at this
Oh, the
point.
first book, I think, something like that. The first book on Audible, 60 hours. I'm like, I, I've read I listened to the book. I want to read the rest, but I don't know if I've got that much time.
Exactly. It takes away. There's a sort of like there's the idea. It's like, well, if it's 60 hours and I'm getting it for one credit, that's really good value for money. But on the other side, I'm not getting through this book this month. Whereas then I can
Right,
buy like a 10-hour book, which I can get through in a week.
right, right. Quick question. We could kind of go to the process.
Absolutely.
What? How does your
So when I'm writing, I tend to have a very sort of structured day. So I'm usually I get up, have myself a cup of tea and some breakfast, and morning shit. Then I'm usually working by sort of 9 o'clock. I spend the first hour doing horrible admin stuff, replying to emails, checking my ads, all that horrible bullshit. Then I sit down to start writing, and I at the moment I'm writing in in sort of sprints. So I'll write for 20 minutes, and then I'll take 10 minutes off, put some music on, go for a walk around the house, that sort of thing. Then I'll do another 20-minute sprint, another 10-minute break, and then another 20-minute sprint and another 10-minute break. So there's sort of like essentially an hour's worth of writing and 30 minutes of break time. And that's usually sort of my morning writing. Then I'll take the dog for a walk, have some lunch, and then repeat it in the afternoon, basically. Um, so in that sense, it's a very structured way of doing it. But the idea is you're locking yourself into you've got these three writing blocks that you're doing in the morning and three writing blocks that you're doing in the afternoon. I usually get about 500 words written in each 20-minute block at the
no
moment,
kid?
which yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I it can vary quite a lot. Sometimes I don't get it all written, so but I'm trying not to beat myself up if I don't hit those 500 words. And then once I've finished the afternoon block, then it's another case of is there any extra emails that have come in, any admin that needs doing again. Um, but that's mostly the way that I'm writing at the moment. I've used a ton of different methods. There's been years where I've just been like, right, sit down, write until I fall over and I can't, concentrate anymore. But I find that way it's very easy to get burned out um, by it. But you might be getting more words down. I might be getting like hell. Some days have been, oh God, it's been a 6,000 word day. Look at that. But by
That's
the
good.
end of it, yeah, but by the end of it, I feel dead. I'm just like I've got absolutely nothing left. Um, so this way, it's the idea behind it is if you're keeping to have you keep having breaks and everything, then you're not going to get to the point where you can't continue anymore. It stops that level of burnout building up. Um, but that's just the way I'm working at the moment. As I say, there are many different ways to work, and I have tried many different ways myself.
Oh, right. When we first started this talking about uh talking kind of about how do you keep a God eater, um, I'm more of a plot. Don't go there. Right? Is everything like when
Um,
you sit down? Is it like okay, I know general idea where I want to go, and then I'm gonna write until I have kind of what I want, and get it?
so I use a sort of I think they call it it's like the headlight method.
Yeah.
So if you think about it in the idea of if you're going for a drive, you know where you're going to, and you know the signposts that you're going to see along the way. But you don't know what's in that next stretch of road until your headlights light it up. Um, so that's the sort of way that I tend to work because I'm very much a pantser or a gardener um, rather than a planner or an architect. Uh, I usually start with okay, I know where the book's going to start, I know where it's going to end, and I know the major plot points along the way. I know when these two major characters are going to meet, or I know there's going to be this big set piece where they go and fight a dragon or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't tend to know what's going to be in the next scene until I start writing it. or at least, I might know where the scenes, the rough layout of the scene, but I don't know what's going to happen. So in that way, characters quite often just appear, that weren't technically in the story before. But then, as I'm sort of like writing like a chapter, this new character appears, and I'm like, okay, how do they then fit into the rest of the story moving forwards? Which can mean that while I do have this idea of what's going to be going on throughout the book, it might change as new characters appear,
Characters
and
kind of
new plot points.
character name. Yes.
Yes, and I absolutely hate picking character names. It's one of the worst things in the world. I'm terrible at naming
I had a
characters and
Skyrim game.
places.
I had a Skyrim character sat there for probably 3 hours as I was looking at books, going, "Man, there's got to be a good name in here somewhere." You know, that's
Yeah,
I've got a lot of question mark, question mark, question mark in some of my books because I have no idea
yeah.
what their names. I completely.
So I do have a couple of sort of like methods to pick names. If you're doing, if I'm writing something like God Eater, which is in many ways European fantasy, if you go for a walk in a graveyard and take note of the names on the gravestones, it's a good way to just sort of like come up with new names, basically. Um, and then you can do the George R. R. Martin method where you just change a single letter in a name.
Never
You take
caught
Rob,
that.
but add an extra B. Yeah,
Didn't know
a lot of the
that.
names in Game of Thrones are basically you take a sort of a standard European name or wherever the location they're from and add an extra letter somewhere or change a letter somewhere and just make it a little bit different. Not
Oh,
all of them.
that's
Then you have
that's
the
crazy.
Targaryens who just have weird bloody names. Um, but the other method I've been using is so again, this is my special edition paperback of the Age of the God Eater.
I will own
Uh,
that.
and one of the things that I got people to do is all the backers, if we can do that, all the backers entered their name, what name they
Oh,
wanted putting in the book. So what I'm doing for a lot of the God Eater books is I need to name a new character. I'll open up the back, look through the list of names, and pick one and be like, right, I might change a letter or two here or there, but it's a good way to sort of like pick names out basically, and hopefully, uh, when my backers come to read the next book when I release it, that some of them might spot their own name in the book.
oh, I that's an awesome idea. That is an I
Yeah, I thought it was quite good because, as I say, I struggle so much with naming characters that I was just like, oh God, I've got to come up with so many, and there's so many characters in the God Eater books.
well, it's just like
So
how Brand. Not sure how he actually does things, but all his names, like his races, character, nation, like does that all that come to him or source? It's like how.
To be honest, I don't know. Brandon Sanderson is a bit of just a mystery. He's very much a legend in the industry. Let's be fair. The
Yeah,
the amount that he puts out is just ridiculous.
it's
I,
incredible. It's
I
absolutely
don't know how he
incredible.
does it. He's writing these massive Stormlight Archive books and then just accidentally writes 4 books in a year. And
That was during COVID, right?
yeah,
He put out like 4 or 5 mystery like surprise novels.
yeah. I mean, well, COVID was a bit of a weird time for everyone. I think
Yes,
the
yes,
lockdown. I wrote like 200,000 word books in that year.
man.
It was crazy.
Seems like everybody was not busy, but me. At that point, I was actually courier for the courthouse, and it's
Oh
like
yeah,
it was weird driving through town because it was like a
I bet.
ghost town. It was just wild.
It was kind of nice though. I went out for runs to get some exercise in, and you could just run down the middle of the road. There was just no cars. It was wonderful.
It was definitely not time for sure. So you were saying that the Titan Hoppers and the Age of the God Eater series are the two that you're focusing on.
Yeah.
Did I read that you have 6 or 7 of these planned?
There's going to be six
There is
Titan
six.
Hoppers books. Yeah.
Okay.
I am contracted to write six.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have the audiobooks. I have a contract with the audio publisher Podium to
Oh,
produce one a year, and there are going to be six books.
oh wow.
So because I get a lot of people saying, "Could there be seven?" And it's like, no, there are six. There is going to be six, no more.
Do you have any idea what you're doing after these two
Uh,
series is complete?
After the two series, yeah, I've got tons. I've got so many. So. One of the weird questions that people sometimes ask is, where do you get the ideas for your stories? And I'm just
Right.
like, I don't know. They're just there. I've got tons of them. You know,
It's the
I've got
execution that
another.
matters.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some series which I could do a sequel series for. I've got like the Mortal Techniques books, which are just standalone, so I could write more of those. I've got other series that I want to sort of like start and get to. One of the books I wrote back in 2020 is book one of a trilogy. It's not been published. At some point, I want to go back and write the rest of that trilogy and get that published. So yeah, I don't know what I'll pick after I've finished Titan Hoppers and God Eater. It's quite a ways in the future because the God Eater books are big. They take a lot of work. I'm not intending to finish those. It will probably be 2028 before I get the rest of the God Eater sort of like pushed out and finished. So I don't know what I'll pick next, but there will be more.
How? I'm okay. When did you know that you were going to be a full time author, and how did that process look? Did you just wake up
Um,
one morning writing a see you later to your job, and how did you know when it was time to really focus on your writing?
so um, it sort of came in two stages. I knew that I wanted to be a writer. Funnily enough, I was in Fiji at the time, on a desert island in Fiji,
Oh wow.
and I was doing marine research. Basically, I was a marine research assistant. So we were living on this island. We were going out diving every day and taking notes on the coral reefs and the fish. Just to sort of like, it was a project to see how climate change was affecting the coral reefs and the biodiversity.
Oh wow.
Not really important to the story. Anyway, but I took this leather bound journal notebook with me with the idea that I would keep a journal of my thoughts. Very pretentious bullshit. Uh, but instead, I wrote stories in it.
Wow.
And one of the stories I wrote in it later became the first book that I ever wrote, basically, which nobody's ever going to read because it's terrible. But that's not the point. It gave me this idea that, okay, this is what I want to do. I because I'd been going through a bunch of different ideas of what I might like to do with my life, and I had no idea. But I'd always been writing stories here, there, and everywhere. A lot of it was I started like with fanfic, writing Buffy and Blade fanfic and Star Wars fanfic and that sort of thing. Um, but then, when I was on this island and I was just writing this journal, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to tell these stories that I've always had in my head, these dreams that I always have. So that was sort of the where I was like, right, this is what I want to do. As for when I decided to try and or to knuckle down and make it full time, it was after I released my debut trilogy,
Okay.
The Ties That Bind. So this was back in 2013.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah,
How old
and I
were you when you
released
released your first?
2013. That was 12 years ago, and I'm 41, so 29. Is that
Oh
right?
wow. Oh
Yeah.
wow. So you knew when you were pretty young then.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people these days are coming to it a lot younger. Um, with the rise of self-publishing, I think that it gives avenue to people to approach the business, at a much younger age. Whereas I think for traditional publishing, it's often a lot more focused around older people, either because they've got more time to write or because they've had time to really, nail in their craft and, they've created the book that they are ready to publish. Whereas I think with self-publishing, a lot of it is like, okay, I think this book is good enough. I'm going to release it and see how it does.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so I just released my debut trilogy, and it did incredibly well, far better than I ever expected. And it was selling thousands and thousands of copies, and I was making more from selling those books than I was from my day job.
Oh,
And that's the
wow.
point where I went, I'm just going to quit my day job, and start doing this for a living
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Why
with
not?
no real foresight to, is this sustainable?
Did you just release your books on Amazon without, or were you, so did you do much like advertising and stuff before you released that first book?
No, I did none. It was a very different time, to be honest.
Okay.
Back in 2013, a few of us referred to it as like the gold rush, because
Right.
Amazon was still locking in its self-publishing platform. Um, and they gave a lot of help to new authors who were publishing things. So it was a time where you didn't have to do a lot of advertising. As long as you released your books, Amazon would help push you.
Oh,
They
wow.
don't do that anymore.
No, definitely not.
Um, no, so it's a lot harder to get started these days. I was lucky enough to come in towards the end of that sort of gold rush, basically, and it gave me a big head start. But yeah, I had no idea what I was doing with advertising or anything. I just released my books and hoped for the best, and they did well.
It went
Uh,
well.
I
That's
could
awesome.
I could not replicate it, and I did. It was through no real sort of like anything that I did. It was luck mostly. I mean, there was obviously, yeah, okay, I wrote some decent books that helped,
Oh, yeah, most
but
definitely.
yeah, it was very much luck, and it was also around the sort of same time that the Game of Thrones TV show was sort of airing. So people really wanted this sort of like grim dark fantasy. This is what was popular. So there I am releasing a grim dark fantasy, and it helped it find an audience.
That-
So yeah, but that was where it was the moment I decided I was going to do it full time was basically I am making more from selling books than I am from my day job.
that's absolutely incredible. Yeah, I wish I would have known that I wanted to do this a lot earlier. I actually just decided to go back to school. So I'm in the process of filling all that out to become an English teacher. And if I would have known that writing this, I would have probably focused a little harder in high school.
Yeah, you're not alone there. I was, yeah, I did terribly in secondary school, as we call it, just
Yes.
because yeah, I had no idea what I really wanted to do with my life. I was sick of education by that point, so I was just rebelling at everything, uh, like an idiot.
I think we all
It's
go
the
through that.
foresight. It's that sort of like foresight or hindsight of age, isn't it? Where you got the yeah. When you get to sort of like yeah later life, you're just a bit like, yeah, I wish I had not been such of a prick when in my youth.
Right? Right? I I was working on last night. I started working on my college entrance essay, and I was actually googling how to write a college entrance essay. I'm like, that is. I actually put that into my essay. It's like I'm sitting here looking up on how to do this properly, but yet I want to be an English teacher, and I'm looking up on how to write. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, wow.
Okay.
Goes back to the Titan Hoppers. You have Emil and you have Iroh. The They started out kind of not liking each other. They gradually. How did you write those characters so convincing and so lifelike that it's like I have no idea? Because normally you can kind of see a pattern in a book of how these two are going to either butt heads or be holding hands by the end of the series. How did you go about creating that? I don't want to say bromance, but basically brotherly affection for each other. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then I don't want to do any spoilers, But what you did at the end of book 3, it was like, oh my god, what is this going to do with their relationship?
Or you think that's good? Just wait till you get to the end of book 4.
Oh, oh,
So yeah, when I went into Titan Others, Iroh and Emil, I always wanted them to be the sort of the rival type characters, but the sort of like almost friendship type rival. It's that sort of like Naruto and Sasuke,
yes,
Goku and Vegeta. I wanted that sort of dynamic where they were almost friends, but at the same time rivals. Uh, trying to always one up each other. So it was very much a case of I went in there knowing exactly how I wanted those two characters to act with each other. I always wanted them to be this sort of like friends without realizing that they're friends.
okay, that was definitely the case right off the bat.
Yeah. Um, So it was just a sort of I guess a lot of it was drawing from experience. So life experience, it teaches you how to deal with situations. And like one of my best friends, I started out not liking. Well, we both started out not liking each other in university. Um, we didn't want to be around each other, didn't really get on with each other, couldn't talk. And then our other friends, that because you have your friendship circles, they essentially locked us in a room together and was like, sort this shit out between you. And we did, and now it turns out we're lifelong friends. So it's a case of sort of drawing from that sort of experience, and
Sorry.
putting as much as I could of that into those two characters to have this sort of like rivalry bromance thing going on at the same time.
Right. And I apologize for that. I thought I had my laptop plugged in and its screen started going dark on me. I'm like, oh, this is going to
Don't
cut
tell
out
me it
pretty
hasn't
fast.
recorded anything.
Right? Yeah, that friendship still sticks with me, probably as much as Naruto and Sasuke. And then you go from these two to the Age of the God Eater series, and it's like I don't think anybody likes anybody in that series.
um,
Like, look at Ren and oh, what's her friend that tagged along?
AC.
It's like, boy, this is not going to end well, and I was pretty much spot on.
Yeah, well, it's epic fantasy, so
Right.
there's going to be a lot going on there. So not to go into too many spoilers, but one of the things that a lot of epic fantasies do have these sort of like childhood friends going on their own separate journeys that they interweave with. If you ever read like Wheel of Time or the
Yep.
like, it's that sort of idea where you've got that friendship, in that case, four friends that are sort of like weaving their own parts of the story together. Um, so yeah, I've got Rhaenyra and AC, and yeah, they're not always going to be friends. Let's be fair.
That's that is
um,
fair, but that was rough.
yeah. Well, I mean, one of the big things that I wanted to do, especially with Herald, that book of the Age of the God Eater, is I wanted to have this idea of the world that has been created by the godless kings is one of sort of distrust, um, and sort of like fear, because worship is outlawed, any sort of worship is outlawed, and punishable by death and all that lot. So I very much wanted this sort of like dangerous feel to the world where, yeah, okay, you can have your friends, but they may not be that friendly at times.
Right.
Um, but then one of the things is Rhaenyra as a character is very trusting, so she makes friends easily. It doesn't mean that they're going to be always friendly towards her.
That's fair. That's fair. The cast of Age of the God Eater and see, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, and that's hard.
Yeah. It can be. It's like whenever somebody asks you about a later book in a series, and you're like, ah, how much do I say about this? When if I'm talking about a book, they're asking about book four, and I'm like, but there's got to be. You can't talk about book four without spoiling things in like
Right,
earlier books of the series. So
right. It's. Can I ask one question? And I could cut this out if you don't. If you, Ren's mother, is she actually dead?
it certainly seems so, doesn't it?
It does seem so.
I
And
mean, it's not that much of a spoiler. It happens very early on in Herald to
right,
say
but I just
like,
didn't know if there was something that happened because she is long lived at that point, right? I mean, she is much older than because of
yep,
Dawnstar.
yep, stop, yep.
So it makes me wonder if she's not as dead as we just curious.
Well, it certainly seems as if she is, and can only say you will find out for certain in book two.
Oh, you will for sure.
Oh yes, you will find
Okay.
out for certain in book two. I mean, without it's a bit of a spoiler to say where book one ends up, but things
Right.
are heading back towards her.
Right.
So you will certainly find out by well early on in book two, I guess.
See, there it goes back to spoilers. I'm trying not to say too much. Um, I guess I'll just have to wait and see. I'm very very curious. Sometimes curiosity kills the cat.
Uh, I will say the God Eater series as a whole is one where characters do die. There is no plot armor, um, so there will be character deaths throughout the series, and some of them maybe well loved characters as well. Who knows?
The other question I had, and I think I found out a proper way to ask this one as well. Um, Especially with a series like God Eater, even Titan Hoppers, you have a way of planting a seed that, or little hints throughout the book that grows into a bigger plot point. Like there's no way I'm not going back to actually read because I listened to it while I'm at work. So I go back and I'm definitely going to have to read that and start taking notes on what I presume that I am missing. It's like you the little bit of lore hints, and I'm guessing a lot of that must carry over to the other three.
Yep. It's one of the major things I wanted to do by writing the trilogies idea. So it's the idea that a lot of the things history isn't as it's recorded necessarily. So
Right.
if you think about our own history in real life, okay, we might record that this happened 2,000 years ago, but did it? Did it really happen that way? Who knows?
Somebody wrote it down.
Nobody's
It's their
still around
interpretation.
to say. So it's that idea that history can be hidden. So one of the things that I really wanted to do by having these books set across different periods of time, so a lot of what people think of as happened in the past in Herald maybe didn't happen. So there might be reveals in the previous books that make you go, oh, that so what I thought happened didn't happen because I read Herald first.
Right.
Uh, so actually, it didn't happen. But then there may be other things that work the other way around. So, you're reading Demon, which is set far in the past, and then you read Herald, and you're like, oh, but in the future they know this, so it sheds different light on some of the events that happened in the past
See,
as well.
I think that's why it's so brilliant the way you did this. Is
It's
because
certainly
I'm
how
telling
I'm trying
everybody
to write
right
it.
now that there is trying to come up with lore and then sprinkle it throughout your books so you have more content to work with later and little hints and tips that are like they should be spoilers, but they're not big enough to give you the whole picture right off the bat. That is not easy to do. I am trying that with the current series I'm working on, and it is a colossal pain in the ass.
Yes, yes, it is. And doing it across three different series and across three different time periods is even
Between
more of a pain
3,000
in the
years.
ass. Yeah, it's not easy. But it's actually a lot of fun to do. This idea of yeah, sprinkling different bits of like lore and reveals across these different time frames. Because the way that I always wanted it to work, especially was readers would get a different experience depending on which book they read first.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it's a lot of fun to do and to see which book people read first and then what perception they have because of it. Because a
And
lot of the time, their initial perception will be the one that they cling to.
right.
Um,
Is Harold,
and
I think it
so
was said that Harold is actually like the main trilogy.
yes, yeah.
So I'm guessing
Herald is
like Ren
essentially
is
the
like,
present day in the world.
so Ren is very much the focal point of the entire series, I guess.
Yes. Well, it was Ren is sort of the main character, and Ur is the main character, but Emmerich is also the main character. There's more than one main character in this series.
I'm trying not to put too much out there, but yes, yes.
Yeah, the
Emmerich's,
series was always written around Rhaenyra and Emmerich as the two major characters.
and what we learn about Emmerich, just that I didn't see coming at all. Do you learn about that in Demon? Is that basically
Uh
his whole trilogy?
no, no.
Like,
You learn more about Emmerich in Deathless, which is the middle trilogy, the one set 1,000 years before Herald.
okay, that's
So
the one I'm going to go to next then.
yeah, so the idea is Herald is like the present day in the world. Then the next series back, starting with Deathless, that's the story of the Crusade, where humanity uh, started their crusade against heaven. They killed God. That's what that series is about. And the series before that, starting with Demon, 3,000 years before Herald, is the story of Saint Diane and the war against essentially meeting the angels, the war against the demons, and forming this pact between heaven and earth.
How you keep all these names and places and just it's just unbelievable.
I know. Again, I don't remember what day it is. I don't remember, people's names. I could. It's terrible because I'm very good with faces. If I see somebody I know, I'm like, yeah, I've
That's
met you before. What's your name?
but I am going to do one thing here on our interview because I have to make sure I'm getting.
Okay.
I am going to my Audible. God Eater Saga.
Yeah.
So we have those three there.
Yeah.
So Deathless is the one I want to purchase, right?
Deathless is that's the middle one. That's the 1,000 years before Herald.
Okay, I'm right now buying it.
And the good news is, if that's at all confusing, and it is a bit confusing, I do have all the details on my website of how the trilogy of trilogies is structured, basically, because it is a bit confusing at times. It's confusing to me at times.
And for anybody that's watching this after this interview, I will be making sure everything is linked down below. And there will be a link to his page. There will be a link to everything, Audible, whatever I can get my hands on, because there's no way I'm not owning the hardcover for everything. And that's the other question. We have hardcovers for these.
No, there are currently no hardcovers or hardcovers planned for Titan Hoppers, but that's not to say there won't be in the future. It's just I tend to like to do something a bit special with my hardcovers if possible,
Okay.
rather than just like here's a hardback version of the book. I like to do special edition versions. So when the series is finished, there might be special edition, hardback
Maybe a
versions.
maybe a secret Kickstarter coming out for that. Maybe,
Maybe we'll see.
hopefully.
I've got other Kickstarters that I'm working on at the moment, so and but hey, yeah, or maybe hey, you never know. Broken Binding might like to do a special edition version, seeing as how they're doing special edition versions of the Mortal Techniques books, and actually they're doing special edition version of Herald
Are
at
those
some
out
point as
yet
well.
by Broken Binding?
Uh, the special edition of Never Die is out. I don't know if there's any copies left. The
Okay.
special edition of Pawn's Gambit, which is the second Mortal Techniques book, is coming, I think, next year at this point. I'm working on it with the art director, Patrick Leo. Um, and we've almost got all the artwork finished, so that's going to be coming soon, hopefully.
That's
As for Herald, I believe we're going to be starting work on their special edition of Herald next year.
oh, I'm definitely getting on board with that one. You said it was Inheritance? Or no, Mortal Techniques. I'm sorry, Mortal Techniques.
Yeah,
That is the
yeah.
next series I'm definitely going to be sinking my teeth into after.
I think you might like it if you like anime, especially you'll like it. It's very much a series that was inspired by anime and martial arts films.
See, I'm very into the Cultivation series, which is what my next book is based on. It's a weird combination of like gotcha, cultivation, and monster collecting. And I kind of
Okay.
mashed it into one, and it's grown a little bigger than I thought it was going to grow into. So now it's like I'm focusing on just the characters and the monsters that I'm collecting, but then trying to throw in a gambling feature that is like it's definitely complicated, but it's so much fun.
It's the sort of thing that'll really pull in readers because readers love that sort of like, especially progression fantasy readers. They love that idea of this whole sort of like, oh, what you're going to get, what power you're going to get, what monster
Yes,
you're going to get. How do you then use that to, further your build essentially?
and I don't want to give up too much because, like I said, it's a work in progress, and it'll probably be another year before any of my stuff released. But the concept of collecting these and then use these your own abilities is, I don't know. I'm so excited to release my first book. It's just I'm so excited for that.
I bet you are. I mean, it's a hell of a time, and yeah, just writing a book is just like it's a hell of an achievement. Then publishing
Oh,
it,
see, I
that
don't know if I want to. I have a feeling I'm definitely gonna have to try the self-published route first because I heard
to be honest,
doing
for progression fantasy, it's probably your best bet. And not a
is
lot
it
of like trad publishers are really picking up progression fantasy at the moment. Some of them are starting to pick up some lit RPG. You've got people like Matt Dinnerman,
yeah
Dungeon Crawler Carl. Obviously, that's starting to get picked up. I believe Tao Wong's First Steps or Thousand Steps, Thousand Lee. I can't remember what it's called. His
hmm,
series has just been picked up by one of the trad publishers as well.
really
But for the most part, it's still very much the realm of self-publishing.
oh yeah I'm definitely gonna have to. That's a while off. That's more than a while off. Thank you so much for doing
Thank
this
you for having me
interview.
on.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. Just, buy my books. It seems to be the standard sort of like, what do you add to these things? Yeah, buy my books. Go to my website, buy my books. Something like that. Or just write,
Or
you
just
know,
write? Yes.
give it a go. If you've got an idea, start writing it. Like, funnily enough, it's one of the best pieces of advice anybody can ever give. It's just like if you've got an idea, just start, just give it a go. Your first book might be crap. My first book was crap, but you're never going to sort of like improve unless you try. So,
See, I don't think a lot of the. I think a lot of people underestimate how difficult writing actually is
oh yeah,
in the
it's hard.
process that goes into it. And then these authors that get a lot of slack. I mean, oh, they wrote 9 books. Where's the 10th book? Where's the 11th book? It's like, dude, if this was traditionally published, you might have seen 3. You
Mate,
know?
I released Black Cloaks, and within 2 days, I had people asking me when the next book was, and I was like,
Yeah. It's like, how many of these books do I have to have pre-wrote before I start releasing so I can
ah. Write at your own pace, and people,
yeah,
the readers will be there,
absolutely.
hopefully.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm not sure really how to end this besides buy his books. Everything will be linked down below. And highly recommend Titan Hoppers. That broke me into your writing style, and I do not regret it.
Thank you.
Absolutely blast.